गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् We are in Kathopanishad, part 2, chapter 1, and we saw how the Atman is grief-free. Swapnantam jagaritantam chobhau yenanupashyati mahantam vibhum atmanam matva dhiro na shochati. How do the wise people think and not worry or grieve? They think that this Atma, who is the one who is knowing Swapnantam jagaritantam yenanu pashyat cha ubhau cha and ubhau both yena anupashyati, the one who is the seer, the one who is the witness of what? Of the dream state as well as the waking state. And knowing this, that the one who knows the dream state as well as the waking state cannot be the waker or the dreamer, then who is it? Just as the waker does not have an entry into the dream state, so who is watching the dream state? The dreamer has no entry into the waking state, then who is knowing the waking state? Both waker and dreamer do not have the entry into the deep sleep state. Who knows the deep sleep state? The wise men, when they seek this out and come to realize that this is that Atman, and what is it? Mahantam. This is the greater than the greatest. This is the overlord of all the three states. Why only these three states? Even the Samadhi state. Of all the four states, he is the overseer, he is the eternal witness of these three coming and going, and therefore Vibhum Atmanam, and because he is the overseer, he is the one which is all pervading in and through all the states. And that is this Atman, that is this Paramatman. Here the word Atman is used, and and when we take when we understand this, that the Atman is not, it's the states of waking, dream and the absence are on account of space and time matrix. But this Atman is independent. Please put your audio off. And this Atman is independent. It is not coming under the purview of the matrix of space and time. It is not influenced by space and time. You and me, as the waker, 7:30 we have to do the class. If it is longer than that, if it goes more than 1 hour, it's time for us to have dinner. So anyway, that's just mucking around. But the waker is a product of space-time objectivity. He is influenced by space and time. Dreamer, he is also influenced by subtle space and time. There is movement, there is linear motion, there is many things happening in the waking and the dream. But this Atman, he is not affected by the space and time, and in fact, the space and time are protecting the waker, they are protecting the dreamer because they are having some experience, and that experience is within the confines of the space and time. But our Atman, it is not protected by the space and time, it is independent, it is free. So neither the Atman is protected internally by space and time, nor the Atman is protected externally by space and time. Externally means in the waking state, internally means in the deep sleep, and the not the deep sleep, the dream state. And in this way, this consciousness, this Atman, it seems there is a content in the consciousness, isn't it? When we go to sleep at night and we dream, there seems to be a dream world. What is the material that has gone into making the dream world? The mind. Who is making the dream world? The mind. What is mind? Essentially consciousness. It seems to be that way, that the Atman has created the dream world and the waking world. But it seems that way the mind is having the content of the dream objects, and the waking mind is having the content of the waking objects. But we are very far away from the truth. In reality, the Atman that we essentially are has no content. It is consciousness without a content, and it is not attached to any content. And that is how it is. This secondary consciousness which appears as father, mother, daughter, sister, the roles that come, they appear, but actually they are not there. So is the man attached to the husband? Is the man attached to the father? Is the man attached to the son? Has any time the man got attached? Is it possible for it to attach with the ephemeral? Ephemeral that just appears and disappears. But that phenomena does happen, no doubt about it. But Atman has got nothing to do with it. Then what is individuality? Who puts all the eggs into the basket of the waker? Who is a confused man? Who puts all the eggs in the basket of husband or the father or the son? And then I have to live a dutiful life. I have to live and make yourself miserable. I have to improve the world. I have to add value to the world. You add value to yourself by recognizing that we are, in essence, the Atman, which is Mahantam and Vibhum. This is the way the wise people contemplate. And what is this Atman? This Atman is a non-dual substance. Remember what words? This Atman is a non-dual substance which only it knows. There is no other to know this consciousness, know this Atman. Now apply it on yourself and see if it stands true. And in this way, and because it knows only itself, it only knows itself. There is nothing else other than it to know. Therefore, it is Mahantam. Therefore, it is all pervasive. And in this way, when the wise people say, when the Atman is known in this manner, then there is nothing to grieve, there is nothing to be sorrowful, and all sorrow is only due to the entanglement of the mind in space-time objectivity. So get out of that again and again. Dive into pranabandhanat leena manasam ananyas chintayanto mam ye jana paryupasate मन मनो मम मद्भक्तः मद्याजी माम नमस्कुरु. See? So apply. Or just contemplate and come to understand that you are that which you have been seeking, and there is no distance between you and what you are seeking. If there is a perceived distance between you and yourself, that is on account of taking space and time objectivity as real. That is why the distance is there. How much distance is there between the ornament and the gold? Instantaneous. How much distance is there between the wave and the infinite waters? Instantaneous. It is always that. Etad vaitata. This is that, this Atman is that reality which you inquired about. Anyatra dharmat, anyatra asmat krita, anyatra bhuta cha bhavya cha. See? Apply. We again, the question after hearing all this will come, now what do we do? There is nothing to do. Doing is for the waker. We have to necessarily take the position of the overseer, of the witnessing consciousness. You are always the consciousness. Question is, do you take the waking space-time as real? Do you take the dream space-time and real? Or you choose, or with understanding come to realize that there is someone who is watching the waking dream and the deep sleep and the samadhi. That I am. Continuing, and therefore, knowing this, one does not succumb to sorrow or to grief. Now, how Atma is fearless. Ya imam madhyavadam veda, ya imam madhvadam veda, atmanam jivamantikat, atmanam jivamantikat, ishanam bhuta bhavyasya, natato vijugupsate, natato vijugupsate, etad vaitata. We have, okay, let's read this, what it says. I think we explained the verse, but we have to start the bhashya, but let's look at it. Ya imam madhvadam veda atmanam jiva mantikat ishanam bhuta bhavyasya natato vijugupsate etad vaitata. That person, that Purusha, that Supreme Purusha, that untouched principle, that all-pervading principle, he is the enjoyer of all the karma phala, and he is the one who bestows the pranas to everyone. And the one who comes to know him in this manner, he comes to know the past, present and future. He knows what is past, he knows what is present, or he knows what is future. Do you know what is past, present, future? You only know the regrets of the past and anxieties of the future. As regards the dreamer, in the dream, the dreamer thinks a little bit can think about past or future, but not much. The moment he wakes up, everything is becoming zero. In our case also, what we ate 2 days ago, 3 days ago, we can't remember. What we will be doing, when I will be coming back, I don't know. 10, 12, 15 days, maybe earlier, maybe in 2, 3 days' time, I don't know. See? But this Atma, he is the overlord, he is the controller. Without him, the waking dream and deep sleep and samadhi cannot happen. They cannot express themselves. They are, whether they are expressing or not expressing, they are ever known by the Atman. Ishanam bhuta bhavyasya. And once a wise person comes to know the all pervasiveness of the Atma, comes to know the lordship of the Atma, that Atma is the lord of all karma phala, Atma is the activating, is lending activation to all the beings, the Atma is knowing all the past, present, future. And therefore, once having come to know the Atma in this manner, thereafter, the wise man or such a person, realized person, does not try to protect this Atma from anything. He is not afraid of anything in this world because he is everything in essence. He has come to his own essence, the Atma Tattva. And from Atma Tattva point of view, everything is Atma alone. From water's point of view, everything is water. There is no ocean and wave. From sun's point of view, there is no day and night. There is only sunlight. From gold's point of view, only gold is. There are no ornaments. From mud point of view, there is only mud. Before, mud during, and mud after. Therefore, it is not influenced by past, present, future. Because it was all these examples, because that material was before also, gold was before the ornament, during the ornament, and when the ornament is destroyed. Therefore, gold is knowing all the past, present, and future. We can say it in this manner. When we come to know this about our own essential nature, that we are that Atman, or Bhagavan says here, Adi Shankara, etadvaitata, that principle which knows everything, which knows the past, present, future, for whom all the karma phalas are there. Such a person who knows it in this way is not afraid anymore. He is becoming fearless. This is one of the symptoms. As we we keep saying turn towards spirituality because as long as we are individual, we use that type of language. When we turn towards spirituality and more come to abide in the infinite principle, to that extent, we are immune. We are immune to the fear. Fear only comes where there is duality and dualism. Where fear comes only if there is a sense of otherness. Fear comes where there is a difference between me and the other, me versus you. Then there is fear. Like we were in Tiruvannamalai in the ashram, and Swamiji was staying at the ashram, and one day He was lying in the bed in the afternoon, no AC, only fan. And suddenly, a huge, about that big lizard, a garden lizard, जिसको हम कैमिलियन बोलते हैं, कुछ बोलते हैं, it was walking on the wall, and Swamiji's bed was next to the wall. Oh man, it went so, something he must have. See, he moved out of that place. I'm not going to stay here. See? This fear is not there afterwards, once one is abiding. At a worldly level, it may express it that way. But when it comes to a T, meaning when a push comes to a shove, the master is ever established. Oh, this is happening in Europe, I don't think we should travel. Oh, that is happening in America, we should not travel. I think we should not go out of the house, there is too much traffic. If we get caught in the traffic, then what will happen? And oh, there's too much pollution, what will happen? Continuously worried about survival. This talk of survival can only be replaced by coming to recognize that we are that infinite principle. यह कश्चिदिमं मध्वदं कर्मफलभुजं जीवं प्राणादिकलापस्य धारयितारमात्मानं वेद विजानाति अन्तिकादन्तिके समीप ईशानम् ईशितारं भूतभव्यस्य कालत्रयस्य ततः तद्विज्ञानाद् ऊर्ध्वमात्मानं न विजुगुप्सते न गोपायितुम् इच्छति अभय प्राप्तवात्. Madhvad is this nectar. See, what happens is, it is this Atma which makes us feel that that we are the enjoyer of the fruits of action. Who is this we? The waker. Who is this we? The dreamer. Who is this we? The deep sleeper, enjoying the nectar of deep sleep. Enjoying the meditation in samadhi. So is it the waker who is in samadhi? Is it the waker who is in the dream? Is it the waker who is in the deep sleep? No. But this joy that a person is experiencing in every state, I had a wonderful meditation. Who is saying this? Waker was not available in meditation. He transcended. Deep sleep, I had a wonderful deep sleep. There were no thoughts, there was no knower. You were not conscious. Then who said? Who was awake there? I had a horrible dream. Arey, you are the dreamer. Who is saying I had a horrible dream? Someone was watching. Someone was there other than the dreamer, the dream world and the dream experience, observing. And when you wake up, you say, oh, I had a horrible dream. Dreamer cannot say that because he is absent after waking up. You understand? We live under this impression that we are the individual doers, karma phala bhokta. Where are we? So here he says that the karma phala bhokta and jiva, and that Atma, because of which, who is beyond the cause and effect, and all the cause and effect and pranas happen because of him, and he is aware of the past and the future and all the three states of what are they, past, present, future. He knows them as the Lord, Ishana, as the Lord. And once a seeker comes to know this, that he is other than the past, present, and future, he is other than the waker, dreamer, sleeper, and the meditator, samadhi person, thereafter, that Atma is no longer secret for him, and then he has already come to realize that this Atma is it's no longer a secret thing which is hidden and he has to seek. Our problem is we are seeking. And our problem is we are trying to be the Atma. We are trying to know the Atma. We have to desire the Atma and conclude yourself. But it's our job is always touch and go, try a little bit. Because once you commit yourself to the Atma, once you commit yourself to the truth is blazing. The truth is blazing. Everything will burn in its presence. All duality will burn in its presence. All ignorance will burn away in its presence. And when it starts burning, we become afraid. The seeker becomes afraid. And he reverts back to his way of life. He reverts back. He is happy only to think about the reality, do a little bit of reality, get excited by something happening in the body and mind because of thinking about the reality, but not ready to go, not ready to dive deep, not ready to completely be absorbed into the reality as the reality, because he becomes afraid. But Atma is not afraid. If he knows this Atma in that manner, he attains to fearlessness. Ichhati abhaya praptatvat यावद्धि भय मध्यस्थः अनित्यम आत्मानं मन्यते तावत् गोपायितुम इच्छति आत्मानं. As long as I was explaining, as long as the seeker, the spiritual seeker, is locating himself, is situating himself, is taking a position in the fear, then the only way he can look at the Atma and think of the Atma is objectively. And therefore, and he thinks that this Atma, like these yogis are there, they have done thousands of years, hundreds of years, decades of sadhana, and then you go and touch their feet. They don't want you to touch their feet. Why? I don't know why they do, but I can think why. Because the energy which they have gathered, gained, harnessed, cultivated, it will get leaked away by impure beings coming and touching their feet. Such yogis are living in fear because they feel that they have to protect the Atma, that they have to protect the energy. They have not come to realize, recognize that Atma is eternal, Atma is all-pervasive, Atma is infinite inspiration, that Atma is infinite love. If they come to know, they will not try to protect it. But because they know it only by way of thought, they have intellectual conviction, and intellectual conviction is only by way of thought. Thought is inert, thought is incomplete, thought has a beginning and end. Thought is temporary, anitya. Vivek means nitya, anitya, vivek. Nitya is permanent, anitya is impermanent. Thought is impermanent. So as long as we are focused on the thought of the self and thinking about the self, and he's inside, he's outside, if I have the eyes closed or eyes open, whatever, such a seeker has not discovered that Atma to be his own essential nature, his own subjective self, and therefore the running around. Therefore seeking the blessings, therefore going to the temples, therefore going for pilgrimages, therefore the artis and etc., whatever, therefore the sadhanas, therefore the study of scriptures. So as long as this person is locating himself in the midst of the fear and thinks of the Atma merely as a thought, till then he will keep wanting to protect the Atma. And the moment he comes to know the Atma to be eternal, it is Nitya, that it is non-dual, Advait, that from that very moment, when, where, and from whom will he protect the Atma from? He will have no desire to protect it, and that is what is told here. Yada tu nityam advaitam atmanam vijanati tada kim kah kuto va gopayitum iccheta etadvai tada iti purvavata. And that certainly this is that Atma, and this way, in conjunction with the previous verses from beginning till now, this is the 5th verse, I think, from beginning till this verse, see it as a flow of thought. And in this way, with every verse, we are reinstating the nature of the Atma. Nishoka, Abhaya, Sarvagata, Vibhum, etc., etc. The Atma, Madhvadam, he is the taster of honey. Karmaphala. He is the taster of honey. And he is and from him alone the taste also comes. That is this Atma. There is nothing that is outside of him. There is nothing that is outside of that Atma. Atma is one, Advaitam, one without a second. This joy that we experience when we listen to satsang, when we speak in a satsang, this joy that little bit cough and I take a little bit of water, the joy of the soothing. Is this joy coming from outside? If it was coming from this water, I would be drinking water 24/7. Is it possible? If the joy was coming from sweet meat, then I'll keep eating the barfi again and again and again and again. But our experiences, after 3, 4, 5, if you have that capacity, after that you don't even want to look at it. So where does the joy come? So did that joy, did that nectar of joy come from the sweet meat? Did it come from the water that I drank? Or was it inherent and the desire for some object is fulfilled? That very moment, that joy which is the nature of the Atman shines forth. But what is individual doing? Instead of being that joy, he is desiring that joy in the objects of the world, in this space-time continuum. Wise people, they have understood the ephemeral nature of the world, of the space-time world, and therefore they have found the shortcoming in it. That it cannot, space cannot be the truth, time cannot be the truth, both are changing. Space gives rise to time, time gives rise to future space. In that sense, both are coexisting. If there is space, there is time. If there is time, there is space. If time is moving forward, where will it move? If there is no space, how can the time move forward? See? But this Atma, this joy that we are experiencing, it does not come from outside. It comes from, it is our essential nature. Our joy, our consciousness, the consciousness of our being comes not from outside, but our life is identical with the existence, meaning conscious alone is existence. Consciousness, the life, and the existence of the whole world, of the entire cosmos. In that cosmos, is included this body, this breath, this mind, these thoughts, these convictions. These are included in that. Words are coming and going. Is the consciousness coming and going? Come to Dakshinamurti Stotram. The first 3 verses of Dakshinamurti Stotram. Tat Tvamasi. Tvam Tat Asi. There it is, Tvam Tat Asi. So this conscious person who is independent of all the changes. But where are the changes taking place? Where are the objects coming and going? Where are they existing? They are existing in everything is, isn't it? This bottle is, this laptop is, this table is, this phone is. But when this bottle is, now the bottle is kept away, my attention shifts from the bottle to the phone. Between the phone and the bottle, there was nothing. There was absence of the object. A wrong conclusion. Between the two, I am. Between the two also I am. But what happens when the two objects of which I was aware I am seeing the bottle and I am seeing the phone. In between, I am with myself. The consciousness reverts back. The existence which was borrowing itself to the phone, the existence which was borrowing itself to the bottle, is existence only where the object is, or the existence is in spite of the objects? If the light is able to reflect on this bottle, the light is able to reflect on the phone, I am able to recognize the phone, I am able to recognize the bottle. But because in between there is no object, does it mean the light is absent? Does it mean in between the two objects where there is no object, does it mean the consciousness is absent? Existence continues. That is the point where consciousness, existence are one. And they are always one, they have never become separated. It's only on account of our obsession with the objectivity that we appropriate this is, that is, all that is okay. But you have to understand that between the two objects also the existence is. It's not nothing is there between the two. No, existence is between the two. And that is the point here the teacher is saying that our life, our consciousness is identical with our being, meaning with our existence. And once we come to be that Atman, once we come to be that eternal consciousness, which is conscious existence, one becomes the knower of the past, present and future. Remaining an individual, you cannot be the knower of past, present and future. As an individual, you cannot be the knower of past, present and future. But as the eternal one, which is your essential nature, the Atman, past, present and future become available. And this way, just as the eyes which saw Kurukshetra and the happenings of past, present and future in Kurukshetra through Sanjay, the same eyes are watching us also at this moment. Sahasrashirasha Purushaha Sahasrakshas Sahasrapad Sabhumim Vishwato Vritva Atyatishthad Dashangulam. So he is all pervading everywhere. He is the consciousness behind all the eyes. So just as if one bulb fuses, the principle of light doesn't fuse. Principle of light continues to express at other places. Same way, this divine eye is ever present. The Atma is ever present. It is indestructible. It was present then, it is present now, and will be present ever. Question is, do you as a seeker choose to remain as the waker consciousness, as the waking consciousness, and continue to hold on, I am the waker, I am the waker, I am the waker. I have to seek, I have to seek, I have to seek. Or do we accept with proper analysis, with understanding, that there has never been a time that I have become absent. I am the eternal one, not as the body. and live in that realization, as that realization, in and through the phenomena. So when we say Sahasra Shirsha Purusha, we are not limiting our consciousness to one body, one set of eyes, one set of mouth, ears, one set of nostrils, two hands, two legs. No, Sahasra, meaning infinitely available, forever available. But we have locked ourselves. How? Through identification. How? By taking this body alone to be I. We are not yet fired by the possibility of Sahasra Shirsha Purusha. We may be chanting, but we are not fired up with that. That I am that one. We want to maintain our waking state, the seeming continuous one from yesterday to today, today to tomorrow. Even though there is no similarity between yesterday and today and tomorrow. But we choose to believe only in the seeming continuity of yesterday to today, in the waking state I am talking about. Truth is far from that. We have to give up this obsession with the waking plane as real. And the moment we realize that we are Sahasra Shirsha Purusha, then at that very moment, we are omniscient, we are omnipresent. There is no place we are not. There is nothing that we don't know. That very instant when when we rediscover ourselves to be the Eternal One, to be the Sahasra Shirsha Purusha. Work towards that or be that. Then nothing is outside of you. Nothing is separate from you. Whether the water is of Bay of Bengal or whether the water is of the Arabian Sea, is the same water. This Atmic ocean is everywhere. There is no place it is not. Either you accept you are in the ocean of samsara and suffer and fear and protect yourself, or you accept you are of the nature of Atmic ocean. Everywhere you alone are. We don't have to go anywhere to seek God. He is our essential nature. He is the core of our heart. He and I are not separate. Never been separate. The addiction of doing is keeping this separation alive. Learn to be silent, contemplating these verses, and abide. The Atman is the indivisible principle. And once you understand that you are that indivisible principle in essence, right now you are divisible. With mother, you are the son. With wife, you are the husband. With daughter, you are the father. And you take that to be real. Divisibility. The Atmic consciousness is indivisible. The ocean, the waters, the infinite waters are indivisible. From the point of view of infinite waters, there is no number of oceans and there is no infinite waves. Infinite number of finite waves. Nothing. Only water is. We have to take that position that we are the indivisible principle. And once we accept ourselves to be the indivisible one, what other divisibility is there? I am the waker, waker is not the dreamer. I am the dreamer, dreamer is not the sleeper. I am the sleeper is not the waker. And goes on and on and on and on and on. We have divided ourselves into three. We don't do that only in our daily living, but even in a total day experience, waker, dreamer, sleeper, samadhi. Continuous division. But who is supporting that division that you are not seeing? What is that without which this division cannot appear? That towards that principle our attention is not going. And once we recognize that indivisible principle is the Atmic principle, etadvaitata, and that I am, or etadvaitata doesn't mean I am, Aham Brahmasmi means I am. The teacher is saying this is that reality, etadvaitata, which you asked. Wise men know it subjectively. Then after knowing it, Sahasra Shirsha, you are omnipresent, you are omniscient, everywhere you alone are. Then is there anything in this world that will seek? Is there anything in this world that will desire? Is there anything in this world from which we will run away or reject? Is there anything in this world that we will try to retain as a memory to be enjoyed in the later period of time? If you alone are everything and everywhere, so the scriptures explain, such a person accepts everything, rejects nothing, and retains nothing. That becomes the person's disposition. These things are observed by other people in a Mahatma. Because you are no longer, you cannot recognize, now I accept everything, now I reject nothing, now I retain nothing. You are no longer there. Other people will talk. Such is this Atman, such is this mystery, such is this mystery. Once having known, there is no coming back. Completely absolved. Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tva sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma shucha. Papebhyo, absolved of all sins. Sins equal to duality, dualism, separation, individuality. ignorance, avidya, kama, karma. The sin of separation, the idea that I am separate to the reality, this is removed. This becomes null and void for the Mahatma, for the wise one who is established, who knows the reality in this manner. Let's read the next part. यह प्रत्यग आत्मेश्वर भावेन निर्दिष्टः स सर्वान् मेत्ये तद् दर्शयति. That Atma, which has been indicated as the Ishwar, Sastra Shirsha Purusha, Vibhum, all pervasive, all knowing, omniscient, that immediate self, which has been indicated here as the Ishwar, he is the inner consciousness, inner Atma of every being in this creation. That is, this is told in the next verse. So that Brahman is here it says Brahmagnya ka sarvatmya darshan, meaning that Brahmavid Purusha, the person who is established in the reality, in the self, sarvatmya darshana, how he sees himself. This is just a word, okay? He sees the self to be everywhere. But when we are using this language, there is a pitfall. When we say he sees the self to be everywhere, everywhere means space and time. You see yourself everywhere in this body. There is a form. There is a contour. But when Atma is looking everywhere, he sees only himself. There is nothing else to see. What that vision, that darshan is being explained in this next verse. Yah purvam tapaso jatam, yah purvam tapaso jatam, adbhya purvam ajayata, adbhya purvam ajayata, goham pravishya tishthantam, गुहां प्रविश्य तिष्ठन्तं यो भूतेभिर्व्यपश्यत, यो भूतेभिर्व्यपश्यत एतद्वै तत्. टुगेदर. यः पूर्वं तपसो जातम् अद्भ्यः पूर्वमजायत, गुहां प्रविश्य तिष्ठन्तं यो भूतेभिर्व्यपश्यत एतद्वै तत्. Here it says that seeker, that mubukshu, that seeker of the truth, who through his tapasya comes to see the Hiranyagarbha. Hiranyagarbha means the Virat Purush in the gross sense, and that Virat Purush in the subtle sense, in the causal sense, is Hiranyagarbha. Comes to, through his tapasya, comes to know the Hiranyagarbha, which is, see, wherever there is effort, wherever there is tapasya, is meaning effort. Tapasya, who is doing tapasya? The tapasvi. Tapasvi has a willpower, tapasvi has a desire that I have to do the tapasya. Whenever it comes to this world, whenever it comes to Jeev Jagat Ishwar, then tapasya is required. So when we are coming to Hiranyagarbha, tapasya is required. And tapasya, who is doing the tapasya? A person who is made out of the 5 elements. And what is Hiranyagarbha? The causal state of the 5 elements, where all possibilities exist in their nascent form but haven't manifested yet. So as long as we take ourselves to be a seeker, as a body, as an individual, and we do tapasya, the maximum we can reach is this Hiranyagarbha. After that is his journey, is his grace. Through tapasya you can come up to this point. And that is so this, who is this Hiranyagarbha? This Hiranyagarbha is the total cause of everything, the infinite cause of everything. And and where is it located? It is located in the intellect. So here it says, Guham pravishya tishtantam yo bhute bhir vyapashyata. So the seeker, he enters into the cave of the intellect, cave of the his inner personality, and then he sits there and bhuter bhir vyapashyata, and from there he sees everything, he knows everything. This and the one who does this, see, when we look at Hiranyagarbha in the gross form, well, for us it is gross because we have given it a form. What is that? One is Ishvara, and the other aspects of Ishvara at the total level of Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti is Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh. What are these three doing? They are ever absorbed in their essential nature. Ever absorbed. So this is the other way. What is that? Either you go directly or you go the long way. What is the long way? Via Hiranyagarbha. So you are going Bhurvua, Tapajanamaha, Satyam. Satyam, you come to Hiranyagarbha. Satyalok is Brahmalok. From there we go on to Hiranyagarbha. And just as Narayana is ever meditating on his essential nature, similarly a person who is abiding in the Hiranyagarbha, in the core of his intellect, core of his being, is necessarily abiding is in his own self. This is told, and this we'll look at in our next class. Etadvaitata, this is that reality. Again, same thought is presented. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Sit quiet.